Hello, everybody. Welcome to Know Your Money. I'm Bronwyn Wayner.
And I'm Craig Finch, and we are from Growth Financial Planning. We hope you enjoy our podcast.
We're back again this week with the Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and today we are on Chapter 9. Hello, Craig.
Hi, Bron. Nice to see you again.
You too. So today's Chapter 9 is Wealth is What You Don't See, which I think is such an important chapter. Some of the most wealthiest people, you wouldn't even know that they're wealthy because they don't necessarily flaunt it. I remember you once talking about, I can't remember the exact story, but it was about having enough and not knowing the billionaire next door.
The chap who wrote the book Catch-22.
Yes.
And he was at a party with a friend of his at this very wealthy tech businessman's house. And his friend said, "Do you realize that this chap here who owns this big tech company made more money last month than you made out the total sales of your book?" So he said, "But he hasn't got what I've got." And the friend said, "No, of course he's got everything and more of what you got, and he can buy it 10 times over because he's got all this money." He said, "No, he hasn't got enough." He said, "No, I've got enough." So it's that, as you say, buying stuff for the sake of looking good to the outside world. And there's another book called The Millionaire Next Door that speaks about that as well. You don't necessarily know who actually is the millionaire next door because they may not flash it at all, but they've got masses of wealth in portfolios. I suppose the one we know all about because he tells us quite a bit is Warren Buffett, but he still lives a very frugal life. He bought his house in his 20s. He still lives in that same house. He buys, McDonald's, not exactly good food, but he's got an allocation of food money every day, and he drives through the drive-through on the way to work, and he buys similar meal every day for a similar amount of money. I mean, he could dine wherever he liked.
Yeah.
He buys second-hand Buick. Buick's a very nice motor vehicle, but he buys a second-hand Buick, which are mostly hail damaged.
Sure.
I mean, you can buy the best Rolls Royce in the world, but for him, that's not his value system.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to flash the car. He doesn't need to flash the car because he's got this incredible amount of wealth. And a lot of people buy the car, overextend themselves, can't afford it, want the world to look at them and say, "Wow, look at that person. They've got this Ferrari. They can't afford the Ferrari, and they should be allocating their wealth and their savings in other areas," as we've seen many times in financial planning. And they think the world's going to go, "Wow, you're a special person," but they're not. They don't really care if you drive the Ferrari or not.
Yeah. But as humans, we go, okay, that person has this, so they must be wealthy. But it really doesn't always work like that. In the book, Morgan talks about when he was a valet, the one time a guy came in a Ferrari, and the next month he came in a Honda, and he said, "What happened?" He said, "No, my car got repossessed because I couldn't afford the repayments." And that's a version of wealth that you don't want to be. That's more being rich, which is your current income. Wealth is the things we don't see. We don't see a person's bank accounts and their investment portfolios when we meet with them. We just see what they're projecting to the world. And if having fancy clothes and things is important to you, great. But I think what he's trying to make us think about is, are you aligned with your values of what you truly want and what you want out of life? I think that's important.
And that, if you buy that Ferrari and you overextend yourself, you can't afford it, then we're back to our earlier episodes on freedom. You're not exactly free now. You're actually a slave to that repayment. When you get in it, you'll probably love the car and that, but if you can't afford it, it's like being a slave because you're a slave to trying to pay that off. But if you get into a car that's easily affordable, it still gets you from A to B, still got an air conditioner, the windows wind down, that's freedom.
100%. And I think that's maybe it, is defining what freedom truly means to you.
Yeah.
And the more you can hone that in, and that's where I think financial planning is so important, because we help guide clients to figure out what freedom actually means to you.
Yeah.
And then you can make adjustments. So, for example, if you want to buy coffee every day, if that feels like freedom to you, then continue doing it. But where else can you shift? There's another guy he mentions in there. I think he's a janitor or something like that. No one even knew that he was wealthy because he didn't tell anyone about his investments and what he did. He just lived his simple life and did all of these things. So you don't have to earn 100,000 Rand a month to be a wealthy person. It's just about defining what is meaningful to you.
And it's not what you earn, it's actually what you keep. It's what you can save. So it's living below what you earn. Your expenses must be below what you earn. And you must, of course, save. And in all the areas, as you mentioned in the past.
Yeah.
And that's more important. Not what you earn, it's what you save.
Absolutely. And Bill Mann, there's a quote by him in the book that says, the way to be rich is to spend money you have and not spend money you don't have.
Sure.
Which I totally agree with that. But I also do think like every time you earn your money, so you get your salary, you are spending all of it. Like you're either spending it now for instant gratification, or by saving it, you're spending it on a future version of you. You're putting it away so that future you can spend it one day, or the next generation can spend it. So yes, that sentence, spend less than you earn, but all of it should be spent, but try not spend it just on this.
On consumption, it must be invested as well.
Yes, invested, saved, kept in all different
Charity
ways.
as well.
Yeah. And just maybe to end off, it says here, most people want to be a millionaire so they can spend $1 million, which is actually the opposite of being a millionaire. And I mean, I'm guilty of that too. When you do your planning or your plotting, you go, okay, well, how much do I need so that I can spend more, go on more holidays, do this renovation, do all of those things. So define your enough, I think, is what it is. So what are all the things that you do want in life or more of in life? What are your values to you? And then once you've reached that goal, can you keep it that that's it and still do the other ones? And I think it's important when you're plotting how much you want and that this millionaire that you do want to be, you want to spend X amount monthly, but plan also what you want to keep, what you want to save, what you want to grow. How do you do it per se in terms of knowing what your enough is? And I think you're in a different stage to me, not in a bad way.
Like decades different.
Yeah.
You go back to the wheel of life. That's very important. And you try and balance that wheel and you write your goals and your needs and what you want in each area of your life. And that's important. And once you attain some of your financial goals, it's a really good feeling. That freedom feeling is amazing. While you're doing it, you think, oh, well, I'm 20 years old now. I'll never reach 65. But it comes around quickly. And if you just keep on track with your investment plans, you will get there one day.
For sure.
It doesn't seem like it at the time, and there's many obstacles in the way. But if you just keep going and the thing is, you've got to keep looking at it. It's not like I've done my plan once when I was 25 and never do it again. You've got to do it you look at it every week. You have to do that.
Yeah, because the goalposts do sort of change because the version of you changes.
Yeah,
so
sure.
20-year-old you wasn't married.
Yeah.
You could put more away, but then you get married, then you have kids. So there's more expenses that come in. So it's not about moving the goalposts. It's just understanding that they evolve and they change, but still trying to factor in all those versions of you, I think, is the most important point, right?
Yes, and keep a journal and make sure you do it every week.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this podcast, would like to subscribe, please visit our website, www.growthfp.co.za. The information we have provided in this podcast is our personal opinion. For more detailed information, please discuss your financial situation with a financial planner.